Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, welcome to Story Time with Mrs. Rutledge. Today is Friday, April 3rd, I think. I don't know, we're on day like 21 or something of staying at home and being at home. And so I'm here ready to do some videos for you. First of all, I need to say hi to my Northmont K1 friends. Hi everyone. Azerlyn and Azalea and Anaya if you're out there, and Cashel and Kason and Max and Luke and Dewey and Adam and Cole. Hi guys. And all my K1 friends and Northmont friends if you're a Northmont student or if you're just from wherever you're from. Welcome to Storytime. I hope you have a good time today. I hope you're enjoying the videos I'm making. It gives me something to do. And I love it. So, and I love all the comments I'm getting and messages. So keep that up. You know, it's springtime, and one of the things I'm going to be working on is a garden. And so I thought, you know, if I were in my classroom teaching, we'd be starting our big unit on plants and so and growing things. So I'm going to share a story with you today that I would normally be reading in my classroom that I kind of use to kick off our plant unit. And we learn all about the parts of the plant. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to be doing some videos on what I'm doing in my garden. So, and how I'm planting things in my garden. So maybe you'll get to enjoy those videos as well and come back and see us for those. So anyway, I have a story today by one of my favorite authors, Carle. And this is The Tiny Seed. After this story, we're going to be drawing a plant. So if you have some paper and pencils or crayons or anything that you want to do some drawing with, we're going to be learning the parts of a plant and doing some drawing. So you can get that ready. Here we go. And this book is really old, so it's kind of falling apart. It's been read a long time, and I've had it almost like 30 years. So it is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? See all the seeds blowing in the wind, and there's the tiny seed. Yeah. And this really does happen in the fall. And the spring too. One of the seeds flies higher than all the others. Up, up, up it goes. It flies too high and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. So there's all the other seeds. There's the one that gets too close and burns. And there's the tiny seed way down there. Another seed lands on a tall, icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. There's the one on the mountain. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. Oh no! The others sail on in the wind, blowing and blowing, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. There it is, right above the water. And there's the one that falls into the ocean. Sorry, little seed. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It's hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops, and all the seeds fall gently down onto the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed, though, is not eaten. It's so small that the bird doesn't see it. So it's right over here, and here's all the other seeds. And there's one getting eaten. But you know what? And I always tell my students this, and they just gross out. But you know what? If this bird does eat that seed, it's okay. You know why? Because it'll poop it out later, and it could still grow. Birds and other animals carry seeds when they eat them, and then they poop them out, and they can grow. True story. Now it is winter, and after their long trip, the seeds all settle down. They look just as if they're going to sleep in the earth. The snow falls over the top. Here they are in the dirt and the soil. Oh, there's a little mouse underneath the ground, or a vole or a mole or something. And the snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats that seed for his lunch. But the tiny seed lies very still way over here, and the mouse does not see it. You know, that's where a lot of animals go in the wintertime. They go under the ground. Now it is springtime. So we've had fall and then winter, and now it's spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by, the sun shines, the rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full that they start to burst open a little bit. Now they're not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth. You can see the roots down here at the bottom. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up towards the sun and the air. There's another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It's a big fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants, this little one over here. And unfortunately, that little plant dies. Yeah. Because it's not getting the rain, it's not getting the sun it needs, because this big weed is covering it. That's why you got to pull the weeds in your garden. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. There it is. Just the little one right there. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and oh no, he steps on it and breaks one. Oh, now it can't grow anymore. That's too bad. It happens. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. And before the tiny plant has even 3 leaves, the other plant has 6. And look, it even gets a bud and grows a flower. But what is happening? First, there were some footsteps, and then a shadow looms over them. Looms means like covers. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off that flower. They're picking it. It's okay to pick flowers as long as they're in your yard. A boy has picked a flower to give to a friend. That's Nice. Now it is finally summertime. So we've had fall, winter, spring, and now summer. Yeah, 4 seasons. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. And it's growing and on and on and on, and it doesn't stop. The sun shines on it, and the rain waters it, and it grows many leaves, and it gets taller and taller. It is taller even than all the people. And it's taller than the trees and taller than the houses. And now a flower is growing on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. Yeah, giant. All summer long, the birds and the bees and the butterflies come and visit. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower before. And then it is autumn again, so it's been a whole year. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals start to drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. Pretty fall trees with the leaves changing colors. Yeah, and some of the petals start to dry up. The wind blows harder, and the flower has lost almost all of its beautiful petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time, the flower's seed pod opens up. Yeah, do you know what's left? The inside part of the flower, and that's actually where the seeds are hiding. Out come lots and lots of tiny seeds that quickly start to sail away on the wind. And what's going to happen? Yeah. Do you feel like the same thing is going to happen again? Where those seeds start to sail over the deserts and over the oceans, right? Do you know what kind of story that is when a story ends kind of the same way it started? It's called a circle story. It gives you kind of the feeling that the story is going to continue on and on. It's a cycle. Do you know what kind of cycle that is? It's the life cycle. That's right. It's a life cycle of a plant. Yeah, The Tiny Seed by Carle. Great story. Now I have something to show you. So I went to the store the other day to get some essentials, and I saw this really cool thing that the store had. It was at Trader Joe's. And you can see this has this big round brown part. That's called a bulb. And a bulb is like a seed. It's just bigger. And bulbs are seeds that bloom year after year after year. So if I planted this bulb in my yard, then the flowers would come back in the same spot every year. It would grow a flower. Those are bulbs. And this one is a hyacinth, which smell really good. Oh my gosh, it smells like spring. And you can see all those tiny, they look like strings, right? What do you think those are? You're right, they're the roots. Those are the roots that normally would be under the ground and growing under the ground. And there's not just one, there's lots of roots. You know why? Because this plant needs a lot of water to stay healthy and to grow. It's got a lot of little petals and blooms on there. So we've got the roots down here at the bottom, and we've got the seed or the bulb. And then what part of the plant did we call this? Yeah, those are the leaves. You're right. And we've got leaves, and then we've got this big part right here in the middle. That's called the, do you know? It's called the stem. And the stem grows, and then off of the stem we have all of these beautiful little flowers. That's right. And in each one of those little flowers are going to be some seeds. Yeah. Very pretty. And the flowers, these are all these little points of the flower. Those are called the petals. Yeah. So I thought it would be fun to imagine our own flower and try to see if we can draw the parts and write some words and label our picture. That's what we would be doing in my classroom if I were teaching this. So if you have a piece of paper, I have my whiteboard. The first thing we're going to do is draw a line. Pick a spot across your paper and just draw a line. Just like that. Nothing fancy. That's going to be the line where the ground is. So we're going to imagine that we can see what's going on below the ground and what's happening above the ground. So in our story of the tiny seed, the seed fell from the sky and landed on the ground, right? So we're going to draw a little seed. There's our little seed. And next to that, we're going to write and label the word seed. S. That would be an S. E. Long E. There's actually 2 E's in that word. And then seed. And if you can see the word see, you're right. I know some of you are probably thinking that. That's our seed. And then it said in the story that we had to have rain, right? Some rain and some sun. So we're going to draw the rain and some sun. And we're going to label those parts of our picture too. R, A, ray. That would be an A. Rain. And we're going to put an I and an N. The A and the I together make a long A sound. Rain. And over here is our sun. And we're going to label sun. S, n. Let's think about those sounds and write. S. You're right, that's an S. S, That's a U. N. That's an N. So we've got all the perfect makings for growing our seed. We have the sun, the rain, and our seed. And our seed is buried in the, it's in the ground or the dirt, or we call it soil. If we're kind of being like scientists and using proper language, we would probably call it soil. You and I might call it dirt when we're working in the garden, but we're going to call it soil. 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 There's an O and an I that says oi. And then an O at the end. Soil. And soil has got lots of little particles, pebbles, all different kinds of things in it. How's your picture looking? after it rains and after we have the warm sun that's making the soil all nice and warm and moist, that seed, in our story it said the seed got kind of fat. It like blows up a little bit because it soaks up the warmth from the soil and the water, and it starts to want to sprout, right? It's ready, and a little root grows out of our seed. Yeah, that's called the root. You want to spell it? Ready? Root. All right, so somewhere next to that root, you're going to write that's an R. Oo is 2 O's. Root. Right, that's the letter T. Root. And then from those roots, we can add a few more little roots as that seed starts to grow. And out of the top, it starts to sprout above the ground. Excuse me. And it grows up. Draw a straight line going up. Do you know what part of the plant that is? If you said stem, you're right. It's called the stem. So over here, we're going to write S. That's an S. T. That's a T. E. That's short E. Stem. And then eventually, the first thing that grows are some leaves. So we're going to put a few little leaves. That's the first part that grows, is the leaves on the stem. And the leaves, they have a really important job. Their job is to soak up the rays from the sun and the moisture from the rain to make food, to feed the flower, to feed the plant so it can grow its flower. And it makes its food. And you know what that food's called? It's called chlorophyll. Really fancy schmancy word. Chlorophyll. It's what makes plants green. Chlorophyll is green. So now we're going to make our flower, and then we'll go back and write leaves and flower in a minute. You have to decide what kind of flower you want. If you want a flower, like a big flower, like that one, you can draw that kind of flower. If you want a flower like this, you can draw that kind of flower. Make a stem with all kinds of little flowers on it. I think I'm going to draw a big one. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to make a little circle at the top. And then I'm going to make my petals going around the outside. I'm going to start at the bottom and just make some petals. Doesn't have to be perfect. There's my flower. And I can add some details. This middle part of the flower is the part at the end of the story that dried up and burst open. That's the seed pod. That's where all the tiny seeds are hiding inside there. And then you have all the petals around the outside. How'd your flower turn out? Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can always go back and change it later or whatever. We're gonna write leaves though. Ready? Here's our leaf. So somewhere next to a leaf, you're gonna write leaf. O-L-E-A-F. E, long E with an A. That E and the A make a long E sound. Little E, leaf. Sorry, that was my shoe. And then we have our flower up here at the top. So somewhere next to your flower, you're going to write flower. Starts with an F. Full. L. Ow. Ow is like O-W. Flower. E-R. And don't forget, if you're still drawing or writing a word, some other word that we're not on, you can always pause the video until you're ready to go on. Wow, look at our beautiful flower. Gorgeous. And all the labels that we made, perfect. Yeah. And now you're ready to color it. And go share it with your mom or your dad or someone at home with you. And tell them how this flower grows. Starting with the seed, and it needs rain and sun, and it grows the roots, and it grows the stem and the leaves, and then eventually the flower. Great job. Send me a picture of your flower. I would love to see it. You can also comment down below. So there we go. The Tiny Seed by Carle. And our own flower masterpiece that we drew and labeled. Great job, friends. Thanks for sharing.